Bitcoin is following the stock to flow model almost to perfection.
The Coinbase IPO is going to mint hundreds, if not thousands, of multimillionaires and billionaires.
Time Magazine has partnered with Grayscale to create a new educational crypto video series. Time will be paid for the series in Bitcoin.
Cryptocurrencies are the most disruptive new technology we've seen in decades. It really is akin to the internet in its level of disruption.
The blockchain that Bitcoin is on is actually an underutilized forensic law enforcement and intelligence tool. Essentially saying it is better for governments to people to do their transactions on blockchain.
Zoom out. Think about what crypto means for society. All of crypto is worth $2 trillion today. All of gold is 10 trillion. We are sort of maybe farther along in that journey, but that's really only one of a whole bunch of use cases that are coming online that I think are really going to remake all of society.
I've been saying for a year, there's a supply shock in May 2020, and when the halving occurs, there's a repricing of the asset. Bitcoin is following the stock to flow model almost to perfection. That is because it is a programmatic asset. You simply need to have continued demand increase to get the exact same price appreciation on a percentage basis as we have seen in the past, and that is what is happening now. The beauty is that you can predict into the future the exact supply of the supply and demand equation, and therefore you only need to worry about the demand part of the equation. It's amazing what math can do. So welcome to the future where your money is a transparent programmatic monetary policy. It is called Bitcoin. It is slowly reaching adoption.
Bitcoin has created a lot of wealth for people who weren't part of the traditional financial system, weren't money managers. The Coinbase IPO is going to mint hundreds, if not thousands, of multimillionaires and billionaires who all love crypto and are probably going to take some of their IPO, their listing proceeds, and continue to invest in the crypto ecosystem. So there's this really nice recursive effect where this industry isn't just about the assets, it's now really about the companies, which we've been investing in for almost a decade now.
Right. Time Magazine has partnered with Grayscale to create a new educational crypto video series. Time will be paid for the series in Bitcoin, and the company will hold Bitcoin on its balance sheet. 3 weeks ago, Time posted a listing for a CFO job, and one of the requirements was comfort with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. The magazine recently sold 3 of its covers as NFTs.
Number one reason to own Coinbase is the scarcity value. If you're a believer in the long-term potential of cryptocurrencies, which we are, and that doesn't just have to be Bitcoin, that can be stable coins, NFTs, Ethereum, right? They're an agnostic way to play the future of cryptocurrency, and they will be the only large cap US listed company with that type of exposure. In our view, this is a must-own stock for most growth or tech-oriented portfolios. Cryptocurrencies are the most disruptive new technology we've seen in decades. It really is akin to the internet in its level of disruption.
We are hopeful that the folks that President Biden has brought into the SEC, including Gary Gensler, who has been focused on cryptocurrencies at MIT for the past several years, will give the ETF applications a full and fair hearing when they come before him. I mean, one of the reasons that we, Paradigm, formed CCI, the Crypto Council for Innovation, with Fidelity Digital Assets, Square, and Coinbase, is because all of these organizations are very serious about the promise of crypto and dealing with regulators, not just in the United States, but around the world, on getting on the same page about crypto's promise. One of the things that Crypto Council for Innovation is poised to do is to clear the fog of those misimpressions for regulators and for ordinary people. And Tyler, one of the ways we did that is by hosting a paper by Mike Morell, who's the former director of the CIA, just this morning, that debunks a lot of the myth around Bitcoin being used for illicit purposes, and in fact turns that around. And Mike finds that the blockchain that Bitcoin is on is actually an underutilized forensic law enforcement and intelligence tool. Essentially, he's saying it is better for governments to people to do their transactions on blockchains than with cash.
Like, I think Coinbase is this decade's Microsoft, Netscape, Google, or Facebook. I think that there is so much that could be here. The PC revolution was really about a fringe set of people saying that, that they wanted it, and they wanted a PC on every desk in every home. And it took, the vision of Bill Gates to be able to bring that about. And, Apple had to create the iPhone to bring about sort of the smartphone. And for each of these revolutions, you need sort of a cornerstone company to attract capital, to bring together the world's best product people, software engineers, and designers. And I think that that's actually why we're talking about Coinbase today. Brian was able to be that sort of magnet for that talent. And there are very, very few people, shockingly few people in the world who are capable of building something that is that good. The magical moment for me of product market fit working with Brian Armstrong was the moment that Bitcoin went from $5 to $20 on its first run to $1,000. And this is sort of, and it crashed back down. And then it did it again in 2017. And, we're sort of at this point, diamond hands. We are used to this. And so that's why the number one thing I think of when people are considering whether to invest in Coinbase is actually zoom out. Think about what crypto means for society from here. I think that I really underestimated what store of value would mean, right? If all of crypto is worth 2 trillion today, all of gold is 10 trillion. We are sort of maybe farther along in that journey, but that's really only one of a whole bunch of use cases that are coming online that I think are really going to remake all of society. And to weave the story together, I think it's really fitting that Brian learned about startups at Airbnb. That was software eating hospitality. Bitcoin and crypto via Coinbase is software eating all of finance. Money is a fundamental piece of all of society. And this is the on-ramp. This is the keystone.